So I just posted on my page a meme, and it says, "Before you speak, let your words pass through three gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind?" And this is from a classic Buddhist teaching about not causing harm to others with the words that come forth from our mouths, and thinking before you speak. And in that post I just shared, I wrote about my experience with this practice and how it became something that I do. My grandmother was a very strong advocate for constantly saying, think before you speak. Did you think before you spoke? Think before you speak. And that was something that was like constantly put into my thought process anytime I was around somebody, so that I wasn't just flippantly speaking off of the top of my head and then having, saying things that I regret, having to go back and apologize. Hello, Alicia. Welcome. I think that it's super important, and it's definitely something to be talked about. Are we doing enough of thinking before we speak? Are we asking the right questions before we respond to a situation? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it true? Is there truth in what you're speaking? Are you speaking your truth? I also asked in that post, does every situation require a response? Is it something that you can walk away from and sleep on? Like I said, if you go back and watch the last live that I posted, I confronted a couple situations. And the reason that I confronted those situations was because I believe that they are not uncommon situations. And I think that they're things that many of us have happen. We have somebody who comes and questions our practices and our ways of living and our choices. You have somebody who attacks you for something that maybe you didn't have anything to do with. And you could respond impulsively right away and freak out and go off and, call this person every name in the book and put your judgments in their lap for them to swallow. And that not necessarily is wrong. And there might be a lot of truth in what you have to say. But is it kind? And is it necessary? Does this person deserve your response right then? Is your response to them going to add anything of value? Are they going to gain anything from it? Is it going to change the way they think, feel, and react in future situations? What is it going to do and cause for you? So then flip it. Are you the person who is walking into situations and verbalizing your judgments? Are you the person who is calling somebody out about their lifestyle or their choices and things that maybe you don't agree with? Are you putting your feelings and your judgments in their face, in their lap, and asking them to digest it and hold what you're saying as their truth? What harm could that cause? Maybe because it's become so easy to spew our opinions and our thoughts and our unsolicited advice, which I know that this is what I'm giving on this page. I want you all to realize that, I'm completely aware of the fact that I created this page to give unsolicited advice. I do it with the hopes that we will all grow and heal together, and that I can be a cheerleader of you on your journeys. That said, when you offer your opinion into somebody's life, you really have to consider where they're at. What I'd like to share with you is that, with my reaction to these situations that came up, where I was at before May, where I was at a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, had somebody come into my life and offered their unsolicited opinion to me, and claimed that, there were going to be evil necessity, or I'm sorry, evil deities that were going to come in and take over. That would have cost me my mental well-being for days, weeks, a month, 2 months. I don't know. It really would have damaged me. It would have cost me sleep. My appetite, I would not have been able to eat, which, like, I mean, not that that's a bad thing. I could probably use to lose a couple, but that's not even what I'm talking about here. But, it really would have caused me great anxiety. And I think that when we speak to people and we offer our opinions to them, we really have to consider, what is it going to do to their mental state? Um, are we damaging them? Are we causing further damage? There is way too much being fed into the minds and the hearts and the souls of our brothers and sisters today that is robbing them of peace of mind. And so therefore, I think it's super important, that we really do think before we speak, consider those three questions. Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? This comes for you giving a response and for you giving your opinion. Because a lot of harm can be caused. And, like, let's face it, we don't need to be in a situation where there is any more harm causing behaviors, right? I mean, like, I can go anywhere if I want to listen to a bunch of people say a bunch of things that I don't agree with and that are harm causing. You can go to the store and walk around quietly and you can listen to a bunch of things that probably would offend your senses. It's everywhere. So maybe it's time to change the narrative, change how you speak, change how you think, change how you react. That also can help you develop your strength and be able to stand up for yourself and be a serious badass, because when you have time to think it over, your response is going to be more concise. You'll have more time to analyze what you should say. I'm going to go back to the fact that I'm constantly recommending people journal. You go and you write about the situation that happened and how it made you feel and your possible responses to that. And then you have time to kind of go over them and figure out which one would be the most appealing, the most... Ooh, I'm stuck for a word here. Let's see. The most effective. That would be the good one. What's going to be the most effective? I made these situations public that happened to me personally because I'm really kind of sick and tired of people like jumping down your throat and assuming that your belief practices, because they don't line up with theirs, are wrong and bad, right? So I wanted to kind of do that more in a public stance so that I could empower people and make them feel supported and like they could identify. Like, yeah, I get that. And you know what? Thank you guys so much. The response, wow. The response was like breathtaking. Honestly, the amount of love and holding and support that I got was, oh my goodness, it was overwhelming. It literally brought me to tears. I know I'm saying a lot. It's just because I have so many thoughts coming into my head at once. I can't even begin to express how grateful I am to those of you who have seen me just on fire. Something interesting to add. I've talked about often the fact that when I go to bed at night, every night, I offer gratitude. And when I wake up in the morning, I offer gratitude. And my way of doing that is through prayer. And last night, when I laid my head down to go to sleep, I prayed and I said, God, if what I'm doing is wrong and there is something for me to feel bad about, I would ask that you would reveal it to me. If using these divination tools, using my prophetic gifts, my clair gifts is wrong, please, allow me to see that so that I'm not doing anything that's not in alignment with my spirituality. And not only did that prayer get answered, but the answer that came forth in my dreams was beautiful. I had a dream that I was amongst a group of people in, I can't even like put into words, but it was the most beautiful place that I have ever laid eyes on. There were colors in this stream that don't even have names. Colors that I've never seen before. It was breathtaking. And in that moment, I had my hands raised and I was giving praise for the healing that has happened in my life. And everyone there was just singing in unison, and they were all giving praise, for our gifts. And it was, oh man, it was wow, like just mind blowing. And it completely confirmed that I am in the right place right now. And everything that I'm doing right now is in alignment with my belief and my spirituality. So, I've also talked about how prayer and meditation has made me awakened and aware of the signs that my spirit guides, and that the things that I follow are there and are encouraging me or discouraging me from certain things. I'm sorry, that was the door. My kids are going out to shovel. And the fact that I meditate and I do these practices make me more responsive and more alert to the signs. And this is just another example. I'm given the sign through my dream that a question that I asked, I received the answer immediately. Because I don't believe that any spiritual path that is leading you towards the light and leading you towards being a better person is gonna leave you feeling anxious. I don't believe that anything that you feel or you believe, if it's with alignment, is going to make you feel depression and anxiety. And those were the negative things that I was fighting against in the past, was just being in this dark time and using horrible behaviors to cope with these things. And I'm not there anymore. I am not using these evil things anymore to cope with my crappy feelings. I feel amazing. I am full of love, and I'm full of this knowledge that I get to share with everybody about, my experiences, the things that I've been through, the hurt things that I felt, how I overcame that, abuse, alcoholism, rejection, abandonment, being a crappy person to people that I love. Like, I've got it all, and now I get to share how I did that. How did I get here? And that's amazing. And I'm not going to allow for that to ever be stifled again. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to ask anyone permission to use my prophetic gifts ever again, and I don't have to. And it's not going to be for someone else's gain anymore that I have this prophetic gift. It's going to be, my way of helping other people heal. And that, to me, that is a blessing. And I'm so thankful for that. I would never have been open to any of these things if I wouldn't have ended up on this path. And this path that I'm on, I completely 150% contributed to my continued sobriety. And without it, I would not have been able to continue to be sober. When you walk into a group, we're not supposed to talk about it on media or gain anything from it, so I don't want this to be misconstrued, but I am going to say this. The first thing that you have to do is, number one, accept that you're powerless. And number two, you have to accept that there is a God of your own understanding who is in control, and you're not. And that was like, for me. To have someone tell me that God could be something that was of my own understanding opened up this whole new light and this whole new door for me. Because you know what? My God is way too big to be confined between the binding of a book. Especially a book that was written and created to dismiss women, to take their power away, to make them feel less than, and to skirt them off into a little red tent during their monthly time. I don't want a part of that. I want to have a part of a God that is so much bigger than that, that is in everything, and is so much bigger than these teachings and in this translation. Oh my goodness, when your mind is open to that, it is amazing. It's an amazing thing. So, that said, think before you speak. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If you don't have a solid answer for any of those things, then you need to sleep on it, and maybe you don't need to say it. And that's okay, because there are a lot of things that we just have to learn to swallow, because quite frankly, it's none of our business. It's none of our business. Isn't that just so freeing to know that you don't have to share your opinion on everything or anything ever? You could just not say anything because there is potential to hurt somebody. It's pretty awesome. So, I'm really happy that y'all join me. I'm hoping that this will inspire you to think before you speak, to be empowered in what you think, what you feel, what you believe. And my question that I'm going to pose to you is, if you've joined walking in your spiritual path, what have you gained from it? What is happening in your life? I want to hear your celebrations, because I want to celebrate with you. And if you're struggling, I want to hear that too, because I want to hold you and I want to keep space for you. And, I want to pray for you and lift you up and be your cheerleader. So share that with me. I would love to know what is your weakness with not thinking before you speak? And how can I help you? How can we help you? Other people that are following this page. What is something that we can do to help you, to hold you, and make you feel a little more hesitant from just flying off at the mouth? What can we do for you? How can we hold you? So that's what I have to share today. I love you all. Thank you all for popping on and watching for a little while. And if you're watching in replay, leave a comment. And to fight against the algorithms on Facebook, please like and share this video, because the more people it gets out to reach, the more possibility that people will come pop on live, and we can do card pulls. And that would be super fun, because I haven't done any card pulls in probably about 2 weeks. So do that so we can do that. And I don't have to spend 20 minutes talking, because I would much rather be doing card pulls.